just about set, ready to go. 4 tickets have been punched so far, 2 more tonight, including one here in Asheville, North Carolina. The Southern Conference celebrating its 100th anniversary. And it is the oldest tournament known to man, or at least as far as we're concerned tonight. UNCG dressed in the white unis. Isaiah Miller controls the opening tap. Spartans have it as we take a look at the starting 5 presented by Kay Jewelers. Ross Cummings, leading scorer for the Bears. He's only scored 2 points in each of his last 2 contests here in Asheville. That's going to have to change tonight, but Keyshawn Langley right out of the gate from downtown as you take a look at the starting 5 for the Spartans, also presented by Kay Jewelers.
Well, remember, Roy, last night UNCG made a season-high 12 3-balls. And if their offense catches up to how good they are defensively, watch out.
Alvarez dropping dimes. James Glisson, 3-2 our score, just underway. Miller tries to feed the post, can't do it. Abdul Salam couldn't catch up to it. Now the Bears, 18 wins this season. And you see the numbers overall. Cummings has struggled here in Asheville. We'll see if that changes tonight. Balance, great passing, outstanding vision on the basketball court, Coach.
And you see right away UNCG goes down the floor with that man-to-man pressure, or as Jason Shea, the head coach for ETSU, says, skin to skin.
Felipe Hasse from downtown, and just like that, Mercer has its first lead. Langley driving, and that goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Spartans.
I thought one of the things that UNCG did really well, maybe caught ETSU a little off kilter last night, was attack even after you score. So getting back transitionally in defense, a big key against the Spartans.
Miller backs it out. Caleb Hunter launching and connecting. Well, the 3-point barrage continues for both of these teams in the SoCon Championship.
Well, Mercer also had a good 3-point shooting night. They made 11 of their own.
Talked with both clubs earlier today. Anthony Alvarez told us we have an underdog energy to us right now. Cummings off the mark. And that mentality on display tonight against the top seed Spartans, who defeated Mercer twice in the regular season. Last meeting decided by just 3 points, however. Abdul Salam, a couple of big man moves, well off the mark.
Nice job of being patient that time defensively by Hasse in the block area.
Limited fans in attendance tonight. Atmosphere has been getting better by the day here in Asheville. Mercer playing in its first ever SoCon Championship. Cummings off the mark, 0 for 2 start for Ross Cummings.
At some point in time, the Bears are going to need their best shooter make some shots.
You tell me what you would do. He was 0 for his last 10 from 3-point range coming into this game. You're trying to get his confidence up and trying to get him some good looks. They're just not there.
Yeah, early on, I'm going to run some action for him, and Mercer does. They run a lot of great stuff in the half court, a lot of motion. They use Hasse in some creative ways, and if you want to watch the game within the game, watch Hasse. That's 22 in black, because he's asked to do a whole lot for this team offensively.
Transfer from South Carolina, went to the same high school, Miami Christian, as Alvarez did. And he has been a very nice addition to this Mercer team and really a key cog in their run in the SoCon tournament. Rebounded by Glisson. Here comes Mercer, trailing by 1.
And because Mercer's playing their 4th game in 4 days, I don't think they want to get in a track meet here, especially early.
Cummings 0 for 3. Board by Hunter. Here comes UNCG.
And Roy, that's a lack of confidence look there. Normally that would be a catch and a 3-ball by Cummings.
Hunter lost the handle. Gary comes up with it. 2-on-1. Miller, the lone defender. Gary, offensive foul. And how about Isaiah Miller, defensive player of the year in the SoCon, and that's what he does.
We talk about the word disruptive. Isaiah Miller, one of the best defenders in the country, and he can get it done in different ways. This time he slides over, gets his feet set, and takes the charge in transition.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
He has ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by SoFi. Get your money right. Hardware will be handed out later this evening for the Southern Conference champions. We talked about Isaiah Miller, Coach. He's won back-to-back Player of the Year awards in the SoCon, and there's some rarefied air that he's a part of there.
Yeah, there are 18 players who've won it 2 times, but here are the last 4 to win it in back-to-back years, and you're exactly right. I was here 2 years ago for this tournament. Got the pleasure of seeing Fletcher McGee and that undefeated Wofford team, and they, of course, went on to win a game in the NCAA tournament against Seton Hall before losing to Kentucky.
That's a picture of Steph Curry. Looked like he was about 11 years old. Isaiah Miller can't get the bounce. Try to track down the rebound. It pops out to Hunter. He's got bodies all over the place. Let's see what the call is from this veteran officiating crew. UNCG this season, another 20-win campaign. That's 5 in a row for head coach Wes Miller, the former North Carolina Tar Heel national champion. What a great job he's done with this program.
Well, you talked about how old Steph Curry looked, how young he looked. How young does Wes Miller look as a head coach? In his 10th year.
Yeah, you asked him an interesting question. You see him in the Tar Heel gear. Miller makes it look so easy, just gliding through traffic. You said, Wes, are you surprised that you've been at UNCG this long? And he said, absolutely not. We love it here. I grew up here. And very pleased with the progress that they've made in a decade. Alvarez, the spin rejected inside by Hayden Koval, who just checked in. And the grad transfer from Central Arkansas leads the league in rejections this season.
Koval has over 300 in his career. Started at Central Arkansas, as we mentioned. Both guys had the ball, so jump ball, possession arrow, back to Mercer.
He's a 7-footer. Shoot the 3, as can Hasse. Second shot from downtown, and we're tied at 8.
In the first game against UNCG this year, Hasse also was a factor. He knocked down 5 from bonus land. The big guy can get comfortable out there, 40% on the year.
A.J. McGinnis on the lob, and plus, if I can just add this for a second, how much fun is it to say Felipe Hasse, right? It's just fun to say. It rolls off the tongue. It's beautiful. It's poetic. Felipe Hasse with 2 threes already.
And when we talked to Alvarez today, who did he tell us was the team funny man?
Felipe Hasse.
Felipe Hasse.
That's it. Of course he's the funny guy. Played for Frank Martin at Carolina. He goes back to work. Give him 8 points in the early going. We're tied at 10.
He's not too funny right now to the Spartan defense, I can tell you that. Scoring now inside and out.
Miller operating inside, gets the bounce this time. He's got 4, 12-10, UNCG.
Roy, every coach in the SoCon, when you play UNCG, you have to answer this question. What are we going to do with Miller? And that's on both ends of the floor. He has a high usage rate. He has a high percentage of shots that he takes for his team.
Guinness, a hard foul against Kamar Robertson. Free throws coming up. Greg Carey, second season in Macon. Talk about doing a great job. Mercer has totally turned its program around in a short duration of time. And we've talked to him a little bit this week. Hasn't slept much. He's not worried about that. They're trying to punch a ticket for the first time since joining the SoCon more than 6 years ago. You think back to that run the Bears had as members of the A-Sun upset Duke in the big dance. And, you know, this league, I think, has the kind of athleticism, coaching, experience to where whoever wins tonight, they're going to be a tough out.
I don't think there's any question about it. This league, I think, has enjoyed such quality depth. I was trying to look back and see when was the last time the SoCon regular season winner had 5 losses. You had to go back to 80-81. Now, they played divisionally for a while. There were some divisional winners with 5 or more losses. But an outright regular season champion without divisional play, you've got to go back a long time. And I think that speaks volumes to the depth, the quality depth that the SoCon enjoyed this season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Leon Ayers goes to work. Steady performer for Mercer. Shot was bothered by Koval, finally claimed by Kyrie Thompson, who just checked in. And a quick trigger by McGinnis.
Not really sure I like that because I didn't think he had a good feel for the ball.
Hasse, how about the dime dropping? He's hit a couple of threes. The mid-range has been there. Robertson connects the assist by Felipe Hasse.
That's nothing new for Hasse. He has over 75 assists now on the year, and I talked about the different ways that they use him.
Keyshawn Langley wanted that one, lost the handle. It'll stay on this end. 9 to shoot.
For a big guy, great vision and a great feel. Watch as the guard goes around. Not only does he do a little rub screen, but how about that bounce pass for a guy 6'9"? Felipe Hasse asked to do so much for the Bears.
One of 4 international players on the Mercer roster. They also have deep ties, obviously, in the state of Georgia. Located in Macon. Koval, corner 3. He can block shots and he can shoot from downtown. A couple of nice attributes to have in a big man.
Koval loves shooting in this arena, doesn't he? He is now 5 for 6 in this tournament from bonus lane.
Spartans lead it by 2. SoCon's going to be a 1-bid league this year, and Cummings fell down awkwardly. Appears to be okay for the moment. Timeout on the floor as we step aside. A great game brewing in Asheville. The lead is 2.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Here we go. And a slam. Big time.
Chaos, mayhem, and it all gets underway right there along Tobacco Road coming up tomorrow. And hard to believe it's already here, the ACC tournament. Take a look at the brackets, and I guess the big story, everybody's talking about it, can Duke find a way? And Mark, I don't know if they can. I'll be watching tomorrow at 4:30 to see if they can get into the second round, however.
Let me ask you this, Roy. When was the last time you saw Duke that far left in a tournament bracket?
The simple answer is no. It just doesn't happen. Right?
Absolutely. A strange time, strange season.
Alvarez tried to sneak it up. The tip in by Glisson. He's got 4, and we're tied at 15.
And what did Greg Gary tell us about Glisson? He's been his most pleasant surprise because he has brought an air of physicality to the Bears.
Mercer foul number 1, Kamar Robertson is first.
Kamar Robertson picks up his first personal. Felipe Hasse getting set to check back in. Langley goes to the stripe. And Glisson, you mentioned the physicality, certainly has added a nice dimension to this Mercer program this season. A couple of Langleys on the roster. This is Kobe Langley. Check that, Keyshawn Langley, his brother Kobe also. You see him right there. Hasse back on the floor. Her father played at UNCG. Kiefer Langley, 88 and 92, and Mark, he still holds the top three-point shooting percentage for a career for the Spartans. So it's all in the family. Their high school coach also played at UNCG as well.
One of the keys to this game for Mercer, you must handle this pressure. We're going to keep an eye on that the entire game.
Glisson with 6. Tied at 17. Back and forth we go early on in the SoCon championship.
Glisson only averages 7 a game. So that's a great start for him as Mercer tries to establish something down in that high rent district.
Hensley, I believe, stepped out of bounds. Yes, he did. It'll go back to the Bears. 9 minutes in. And Isaiah Miller back on the floor. So how important is it for Miller to get some early rest to kind of set the tone later on?
Well, when we talked to Wes Miller about Isaiah Miller, what was his phrase? He said he's not a good athlete, and I didn't know where he was going. And he said he's not a great athlete, and I really didn't know where he was going. And then he said he's a world-class athlete. I think any break for Miller tonight will just let him breathe for a minute on the bench. He will not be off the floor very often.
I say off the mark. Leon Ayers the putback. Mercer back in front. And Miller tonight, 4 points so far. You see his production in his career. Points and rebounds, they've gone up every single season. How impressive is that?
Well, he's just gotten better and better because he was really an offensive project in terms of his ability to make shots. And in some ways, he still is from the arc. He's just a career 24% shooter. But he made a couple last night against ETSU, including that one step back at the end of the first half that put UNCG ahead going into the locker room.
Yeah, that was a big shot. That one is as well for Leon Ayers. He's got 4. Bears back in front by 2. And we talked with Isaiah Miller this week. Said, Zay, which athlete that's out there, maybe the NBA, any sport, doesn't matter, that you try to pattern your game or your tendencies after. And the first name that came to his mind was Ja Morant. And there's elements of that kind of explosiveness to his game. He's not as tall. Abdul Salam inside connects. We're tied again. But I like that comparison because the way he attacks the rack, similar to what Ja does.
Well, that's really high praise because I remember when you did Ja Morant at Murray and you called me the next day and said, I have seen a pro.
Off the steal. And this one will go back to the Bears. Now coming up from Vegas, St. Mary's plays Gonzaga. After us right here on ESPN, the top-ranked Zags back in action in the semis, the WCC, followed by BYU Pepperdine, 2 versus 3. That's at midnight Eastern over on ESPN2. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. You buying the Zags as the clear-cut favorite to cut down the Nets in April?
Well, if you're telling me, do I take the field or take Gonzaga, I'll always take the field. But, man, that team is so good offensively, and they have so many different guys who could go for 20, 25 on a given night. I think it's Mark Few's best team by far.
He has to win a championship, a national championship at some point. He's too great of a coach to not have that on the resume. It just feels like at some point it's going to happen, and this year, to your point, it may be his best opportunity.
But, Roy, you can't put those two things together. You can't win a national championship to justify or verify your greatness as a coach.
I agree, but Twitter does not. In and out for Miller. Abdul Salam was fouled on the rebound. I mean, right? The social media age that we live in, it's different, it's weird, it's uncomfortable, it's funny. It's all of these things, and Twitter tells us clearly. Mark Few's got to win a title in order to be classified in this certain category.
Well, clearly you need to stay off Twitter a little bit more.
What's your point? How about this game in Asheville? 5 lead changes, tied at 21. Both teams efficient offensively. On cue, McGinnis comes up short. Glisson the rebound. You listen to the guys on College Game Day. There's been a lot of Michigan love in recent weeks. After the upset against Michigan State this weekend, I don't know. Free throws coming from Mercer, trying to get the lead back.
You know, we've got our first glimpse, really, of Alvarez attacking. And I talked about this last night. He's got such a north-south mentality, and it was that north-south mentality that gave his team that and-one game winner 2 nights ago in the quarterfinals, upsetting second-seeded Wofford.
The wildest SoCon games I've ever seen. Mercer had a 17-point lead at halftime against the Terriers. Wofford comes roaring back in the second half, grabs the lead, and then all of a sudden Mercer steals it at the end, really with Alvarez's play on both ends. He's got 2 points tonight, and Mercer the 2-point lead.
Roy, what was unique to me about the quarterfinals, how about this? There were 2 one-point games in the quarterfinals. That's the first time ever in a SoCon tourney, and that's a long time.
And that's 100 years. Miller, the step back. How pretty was that?
He's become so creative in the mid-range.
From the wing, Mercer responds. And the Bears now lead it by 3. And a timeout will be called.
We talked about the artistry of Isaiah Miller in the mid-range. He's superb there. Excellent on the fadeaway, and we've got a great one in Asheville.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers. We're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Kevin, thank you very much. 4 tickets have already been punched. Including Liberty, Morehead State, Loyola Chicago, and Winthrop. And Morehead State impressive in that win against Belmont, Coach.
Coach Preston Spradlin, 23-7, 17-3 on the year. Kentucky native, by the way. First time Morehead's going back to the dance in 10 years. Keep your eye on 6'10" freshman Janai Broom. 13 double-doubles on the year. MVP of that OVC tourney.
I'm on board. I need you on board with Pat Kelsey. 23-1 for Winthrop. Blew out Campbell in the Big South Championship. My guy Paul Biancardi, National Director of Recruiting for ESPN College Basketball, was on the call for it. He kind of tipped me off with Pat Kelsey. He is an outstanding motivator, tactician. And you wonder, you think out loud for a minute, is this the year the Eagles pull off an upset or two in the dance? Because I think they are wired that way. And certainly the coaching is at an elite level.
For the record, I'm buying what you're selling.
Second time all year that you bought into something I've thrown out there, so I appreciate it. Here in Nashville, 3-point contest, 7 ties, 5 lead changes, a one-bid conference in the SoCon. Winner of this one will punch their ticket. The loser obviously does not.
Second straight year in this tournament that the 7 seed has made the finals. Wofford did it last year before losing to ETSU.
Cummings nearly turned it over. That caroms out. It'll stay on this end of the floor.
When these two teams met earlier in the year, the difference in the game, points off turnovers. UNCG had 17 in each game, but they were plus 14 in the differential in the first game, plus 7 in the second. So why is Mercer ahead right now? Because they're actually winning that differential. Don't turn the ball over against UNCG. Don't give easy points.
Sounds like you're in postseason form. I felt like I just got a glimpse of what it was like with Mark Wise back in the huddle back in the day. I love it.
Oh, you don't want to hear that language.
Hunter driving, swatted away. Glisson got there. Hunter corrals it. Shot clock did not reset. Miller trying to get back on SportsCenter. And he'll shoot a pair. Boy, that had a moment on it that looked to be nasty.
How about the fancy footwork of Caleb Hunter to save that ball? Looked like it was going out of bounds. He had to reestablish his feet inbounds, and then Miller with one of those wow attempts.
We'll get one more free throw. 47-inch vertical leap for Isaiah Miller. He won the championship as a freshman. Only averaged about 8 points per contest way back then. We asked him earlier today, what is your career-defining moment? He said up to this point, it's that title. His mom, Marilyn, also watching tonight. Coaching staff at UNCG really credits her for an incredible upbringing, his humble nature, and outstanding work ethic. Marilyn Miller has been a staple in Isaiah's life.
And Miller is trying to do what Cameron Krutwig has done for Loyola Chicago. We showed those teams that have punched their ticket. Everybody will remember that magical 2018 Final Four run. Well, Krutwig was a freshman there. So he won the Missouri Valley as a freshman and again as a senior, and that's exactly what Isaiah Miller is trying to do.
Keyshawn Langley, the floater, tied at 26. Sounds of Champ Week. The defense chant in the background. Fans in the stands again. Not at capacity, but enough to let you know that they're there as Mercer turns it over.
Yeah, that was a tough pass that Hasse tried to get a cutting Alvarez. That was about ankle high. Awfully tough to gather those.
And Mark, since you were talking about turnovers, Mercer's turned it over 3 times in the last 2 minutes and hasn't scored in the last 2+ as well. So slowly but surely it feels like UNCG is kind of imposing its will on Mercer in this one.
So you're saying our broadcaster jinx is not limited to just free throws?
Free throws, shooting, turnovers, what have you. There's 5 to play in our first half. Here's Hunter, the step back, back iron. And Hasse somehow saves it to Glisson. Alvarez bumped by Keyshawn Langley, and Langley whistled for the infraction.
UNCG foul, 0, Keyshawn Langley.
You've heard me all season long talk about our game has too many charges in it. Anytime there's a 50-50 play on the block charge, if there's any doubt, call it on the defender. He anticipates kind of the Euro same side move. But that's a bang-bang play. It's still the hardest for any official to call. But I'm of the belief any 50-50 decision should go to the offense.
Almost sounds like you've been watching football for a second. I'm not sure if tie goes to the receiver in the end zone, if both the DB and the wideout come down with the ball. And a careless turnover. Alvarez can't believe it, over and back. Couldn't make a clean catch. Neftali try to get in gear here at the end of the first half.
You cannot afford loose possessions in a championship game.
Bears have now turned it over 4 straight possessions. Kobe Langley goes to work. He'll feed the post. Three-pointer rejected. Thompson gets it back. 5 on the shot clock. Kobal has to hurry. And Mercer flexing defensively on that possession. Spartans turn it over.
So many times we talk about patience on the offensive end. There's also such a thing as defensive patience. And after the block by Glisson, it was such wonderful defense by Mercer. And then the double came late. Nobody overcommitted. Nobody fouled. Great defensive patience by the Bears in that possession.
This game starting to grind it out a little bit. Mercer now more than 3 minutes since its last point. Alvarez off the mark there. Here come the Spartans. Langley to Koval, and he turned it over. And Mercer gives it right back. Ayers tried to spot Hasse, and the ball sails out of bounds. Under 4 to go in our first half. We're tied at 26 in Asheville.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. By the way, I love it when Fawn says Haas. Say better than we do it, but there's just something about LaFonso Ellis. Phillips 66 Big 12 championship bracket looks like this. Baylor, of course, the #1 seed. And we've got games getting cranked up Wednesday night in prime time. TCU K-State on ESPN right here, and also Oklahoma and Iowa State. And hey, what's the latest on Cade Cunningham with the Cowboys? Speaking of Oklahoma State, Mark.
Well, we'll find out on Wednesday. I was about to say that. I was about to mention, he played with the mask the other day, the masked man, if you will. Is there a better 4-5 matchup that we know of right now? I mean, I get it. The Big Ten has had such a wonderful season. They are the best team in the league, in the country, no question about that. But their 4-5 matchup is not set yet. I mean, somebody's got to come out to play Ohio State, and then if Ohio State wins, Purdue and Ohio State will be in that 4-5. But that West Virginia-Oklahoma State game, are you kidding me?
And that's a rematch. Going back to this past weekend where the Cowboys went into Morgantown and got it done without Cade Cunningham. I believe another starter, if memory serves me correctly. So certainly that game's going to have plenty of juice. We're tied at 26 in the SoCon championship. Mark Wise, Roy Philpott. Very busy night of college basketball, and tied no more. Kyrie Thompson from the near side wing.
How about a guy shooting 26% on the year, gets a little PT, 60% of his shots are from bonus land. So what does he do? Does he hesitate? Does he think about it? Let it fly.
Well, that should be the new slogan of March, let it fly, right?
I'm tired of talking to these coaches. What do you have to do to win? Defend and rebound, defend and rebound. No!
Stop.
You got to make shots, man.
Let's see if they count that bucket. Hasse was right there at the buzzer. It looked to me that maybe he was a split second too late. He had the early 8 points and really has been held in check since then.
That was my first thought as well. Another block shot by UNCG. That's not going to count. That's not even close to count. This will be a quick review.
Todd Austin, Tony Green, Chuck Jones, our veteran officiating crew tonight, and you love the quick decision, right? That's a beautiful thing right there. One look, it's not good. Let's finish up this first half.
Mercer has kind of gone stagnant offensively the last couple of 3 minutes.
So a big call there, and in fact, it's been 5 minutes since Mercer's last points. UNCG's responded the 6-0 run, and for Greg Gary, have to generate some offense. And look, a backstory here is the struggling Ross Cummings, leading scorer. 2 points in each of his last 2 games. That's it. Scoreless tonight. And the Bears don't have a chance if he can't get going.
He averaged 12.5 in the 2 regular season games against UNCG, but was just 4 of 12 from the arc in those 2 games.
Thompson feeling it. Not this time. Glisson the rebound. And Glisson now with 5 boards.
Don't you love it, though? A 26% shooter on the year with a heat check in the SoCon finals.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You make your first one, let's see what's going on. Maybe it's my night. Ayers was fouled, and that's a very big bucket for numeral 0.
He has been so good coming off the bench for Mercer and Greg Gary. As you take another look, Hunter got caught on the wrong side. No question about that call. How about this, Roy? Ayers has been in double figures 19 times this year. 13 of those have come off the bench. Every coach in the country would love to look down their bench and go, hey, go get us 10 or more tonight.
Yeah, you make it sound so easy, and obviously the tone of your voice implies that it's not.
It's not.
You got 10 points this evening. Miller. Back to the basket. Look at the spin. Can't get the bounce. Chased down by Abdul Salam and a fresh 20. Couple of big men getting down and dirty, and that shot blocked, and I believe they're going to count the basket. They will.
I think Hase got hit, maybe a little friendly fire, because Glisson was the offside defender who came in for the block attempt. Watch as Glisson, 23, blocks the shot and then kind of comes down elbow to Hase's head.
You've done that to me a couple of times in our practice sessions back when we were allowed to go to games in person. Another story for another day. Miller saves that one from going out of bounds.
I got tired of chasing rebounds all over the arenas.
There's a steal. Alvarez picked the pocket of Isaiah Miller. Missed the layup, and look who's there. Isaiah Miller on the other end. Hunter wide open. Well, that would have been big. Instead, a fresh 20 on the offensive rebound by Allegri. And an offensive foul. Elbows were flying. The second on Mohamed Abdul Salam.
I'm pretty sure they'll take a look at this because it involves contact above the shoulders. The double. I would have to see a different angle because his ball is above his head, so that is a legal play, and there's nothing there.
So in that situation, you're thinking it shouldn't be a foul, that Hase, there was limited contact, if any, and no infraction.
Let's take another look. It'll be with this first elbow, I think. Right there. And maybe there is. It's kind of a glancing blow. I thought it was with his right elbow as he came on through, but it was that initial left elbow. That's great work by our crew to get a great look at it.
2-point lead for UNCG. 48 seconds remaining in our first half. Here, the Southern Conference Championship game in Asheville.
See, I don't think there's nothing. I don't think there's anything there. That was what I first thought when I saw the first replay. I think this is a great acting job.
I was waiting for it. The left elbow, clearly no contact, and as the right elbow comes across the face, it's questionable at best. So the original call, the foul, obviously stands. No additional infraction charge, and about a 16 or 17 second differential between the clocks here.
1-3-1 to close out the half.
Hase wide open from the wing, and he connects. Mercer back in front.
And that's a breakdown defensively. Somebody's got to cover the corner in the 1-3-1. Usually that's the low guy. Hey, Mercer has a foul to give, but they don't play enough bodies to give a foul.
Our 7th lead change of this championship. Under 10 to go in the first half. Here comes Miller. The step back three. Count it! And the Spartans grab the lead.
I think Miller's feet are on the line here. I think this is
Minutes to play, and Coach, we've already seen a game that's featured 9 ties and 8 lead changes. We're just getting cranked up.
Roy, if you're the 7 seed and you are playing your 4th game in 4 days, the first order of business is to make sure you get the fight in the middle of the ring. Mercer did that in the first 20 minutes.
Isaiah Miller with 9 first-half points. The Spartans lead it by 1. The number 1 seed UNCG Spartans playing for the title for the 4th time in the last 5 years, and a good start for Alonzo Allegri. First points of the night.
He was quiet in the first 20 minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah, played 11. First shot attempt was right there. Lead expands to 3. Let's see what Mercer can do. And Neftali Alvarez really hasn't gotten on track either. 23 last night, just 2 so far this evening. Five to shoot. Cummings. Glisson a mid-range. Big basket for him.
He has been sensational for the Bears.
What is the amount of pressure like to start a second half in a 1-point game in a 1-bid league? I mean, it's pretty significant.
Well, again, I come back to the playing 4 games in 4 days versus being the number 1 seed. I think all the pressure right now is on UNCG.
And the Mercer Bears in their opening round game, then defeated Wofford. And won last night against VMI. 4 wins in 4 days to win the SoCon. Hasn't happened since way back in 1939. And the team that won it that year, yeah, you guessed it, Clemson, when it was in the SoCon. Go figure.
That would have been a good trivia question somewhere.
I can't believe you were calling that game as well. That's amazing.
And I knew that was coming.
Cummings, step back, and that's a long 2. That's a good sign for Mercer right there.
No question about it. Every shooter wants to see that ball go in. Oh my goodness.
Isaiah Miller bangs it in.
Step back by Cummings, who has really struggled the last couple of games. Maybe shot that without thinking about it. And on the other end, Isaiah Miller, he not only absorbs contact, Roy, he invites it. He wants it.
Now, the dunk last night was the number 2 play on SportsCenter earlier this morning. And if you missed it, Isaiah Miller caught a lob outside of the area of the backboard, almost like Grant Hill did circa 1991, and then just rammed it in. It was amazing. And he told us earlier today he didn't think he was going to be able to jump high enough to grab the pass. And when he did, his reaction was almost as good as the dunk itself, because his mouth, his jaw was wide open in disbelief. Glisson on the offensive glass, and he was fouled.
Mercer has got a lot of mileage playing the 2 bigs. Normally they play 4 around Hasse, but especially when they bring Ayers in. But this 2 big starting lineup, Glisson and Hasse, have been really good. Remember, Hasse in the first half had 11, knocked down 3 3-balls. And now Glisson bordering on a double-figure game.
We got the Sun Belt Championship going on over on ESPN2. The Southern Conference Championship here. 2 more bids being punched within the hour. 4 bids already have been given out via the automatic qualifier. We're tied at 38. We've had 10 ties and 10 lead changes already in this one.
Roy, the over-under for the number of games that I'm going to watch the rest of the week is 38. What say you, over or under?
I'm going over, baby. I'm going over. It's champ week.
Safe. That is safe money.
Yeah, especially, we didn't get a tournament last year. A lot of the conference tournaments didn't happen. Alvarez was trying to get back on SportsCenter, and Abdul Salam saves it. Right? I mean, that matters. that makes it, I think, a little bit more important this go around because we missed it in 2020. We get it in 2021, and it is beautiful.
That's a break for Mercer because that was a poor pass. Hunter just happened to catch up to it. Both these teams had what I call loose possessions in the first half, just unnecessary turnovers. You must eliminate those down the stretch of this game.
Glisson checks out. Ayers back on the floor. He had 10 first half points. Hasse was hammered by Abdul Salam. And that's going to be his third.
I mentioned earlier in the game that Mercer utilizes Hasse in so many different ways. Pick and pop, as a facilitator, he's got over 75 assists on the year. He can find teammates. He screens a lot, re-screens. If you want to watch the game within the game in this possession, watch 22 black. Don't follow the ball.
What about when he has the ball? An offensive foul. Cummings just picked up his second. Miller tried to lob it to Koval. Tapped out. It'll stay on this end.
Good team defense by Mercer on the rotation to knock that lob pass to Koval away.
Miller, well, that's been his spot. Hesitated, gets it back. The one thing you can say about Isaiah Miller, more times than not, he's not going to force the issue. Koval on the stick back. He's got 5.
Mercer's been really good on the offensive glass in this game, and the Spartans return the favor.
Mark, are you waiting for maybe one of those patented UNCG runs where they just lock down defensively? Saw it a little bit in the first half, but Mercer kind of weathered that storm. It feels like another one could be coming.
Well, the good news is that Mercer, even though they've turned the ball over, they have not been for pick sixes.
Alvarez short. Tracked down by UNCG's Kyrie Thompson.
Now, you never want the shot clock to dictate your quality of shot.
Koval, the grad transfer. A little jump hook baseline. No. And the Bears will get it back. Isaiah Miller, well, he can do it all. He had another incredible moment yesterday. Just wait.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers. We're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Isaiah Miller, a highlight waiting to happen. We'll take you back, well, just a couple of weeks ago at ETSU. The windmill in effect earlier in the SoCon championship 2 days ago. Then last night again against the Bucks. And then this one, I think, tops them all. The lob and the finish, Grant Hill-esque, circa 1991, Mark Wise.
He caught that one-handed so far outside the backboard. It had wow factor written all over it, and all of us, including the UNCG bench, were up and applauding.
Number 2 play on Sports Center. The number 1 play, in case you're wondering, because Mark made a great point during the break. What was number 1 that would surpass that? And it was actually quite worthy. The half-court shot by the Cougars to defeat Memphis in a tie game at the buzzer yesterday. That was sensational. A game like that, and I think what we could see in this one tonight, is what makes March just so terrific. The chaos, the mayhem, the buzzer beaters, the one-bid leagues, teams punching their tickets. Cummings off the mark, and the rebound claim by UNCG.
Every once in a while we talk about giving a shooter a shooting pass. That means, can he catch it and go into his shooting motion? That pass to Cummings was in the corner on his feet. Therefore, he had to gather, and I'm just not a fan of the step-back 3. Most of those are missed short.
5 on the shot clock for Keyshawn Langley. He's got to hurry. Desperation 3. Banks it in!
My goodness.
And an offensive foul. Langley draws the charge against Ayers. The lead suddenly at 5, and the Spartans have possession.
Well, it might be Monday night in Asheville, but not the drive-through. The bank is actually open. Langley delivers, and then the charge call I was not a fan of at all.
It was Robertson who was whistled for the foul. Spartans now with the largest lead by either side in this game and possession. And here's Miller. He'll get it back. How many times tonight have we seen that? Cummings chases it down. And a good look to Glisson. Lays it up and in.
Again, one of those loose possessions after getting a second chance opportunity. Turns into points for Mercer, and that was badly needed.
Miller's going to get a couple of free throws. I would agree with that. It felt like Mercer hadn't scored in about 3.5 minutes. Suddenly trailing by 5, an important stop to get against UNCG. They got it. Now Wes Miller's team will get a couple of free throws.
So I asked Wes Miller yesterday, when did you first see Isaiah Miller play? And he told me a story in your neck of the woods over a Christmas holiday around in Spartanburg. You have to remember that Isaiah Miller played high school with Ashton Hagans and J.D. Notte. And Ashton Hagans played in the NCAA tournament. J.D. Notte is about to play in the NCAA tournament with Arkansas. But there weren't enough balls to go around. Obviously, Isaiah Miller didn't get many touches, but Wes Miller just loved his athleticism, loved the fact that he had that fiery, competitive spirit that we see, the fact that he was winning all the 50 balls. He was willing to do whatever it took for his team to win. And that's the first time that Wes Miller ever saw Isaiah Miller.
Off the steal. Layup no good by Kobe Langley, and that's tapped out. Well, Wes Miller also talked with us about Isaiah's relationship with his mom, Marilyn. And you see him here on senior night with Coach and also with the AD, Kim Record, at UNCGreensboro. And he really credited Marilyn with an incredible upbringing, his humble nature, his work ethic, all of the above. And they remain very close. She's in attendance tonight. You've seen her a couple of times already. Loves cheering for Isaiah. They call him Zay. And he's got a bright future. Kind of tested the pro waters a year ago. The athleticism, certainly an interesting combination of skills at the professional level.
His size, his lack of shooting might come into play, but Roy, somebody's going to give him a look.
Yeah. In a league that's built on potential when it comes to the draft, as Alvarez was fouled.
UNCG foul number 33, Boss Lete, his first team fifth.
Boss Lete picks up his first personal. Both teams with 5 team fouls. Just 7 minutes into our second half in a 4-point game. Trying to punch the 5th ticket to the dance in 2021. Back iron for Ayers, tapped out, and Hasse working hard will save the possession.
Great call by you, because that's exactly what Hasse did as an offensive rebounder. If you want to be a good offensive rebounder, don't be a photographer. Don't take a picture. Be active.
I don't want to be a photographer. I want to call games. Shot clock under 10. Contact, no whistle. Ayers is short. Battle for the loose ball. Langley comes up with it. And on the other end, Thompson checked that. McGinnis was fouled.
Mercer foul number 2, Natalie Alvarez.
Well, both teams have kind of found themselves in offensive quicksand here the last 3 or 4 minutes. So why not push the ball, look for early offense?
A.J. McGinnis shooting 2.
McGinnis will get one more. Don't forget, live from Vegas, St. Mary's and the Zags. As soon as we're done right here on ESPN. West Coast Conference semis. BYU and Pepperdine later tonight, the 2 versus the 3. It's midnight on ESPN2. And Mark, you've got 2 teams from the West Coast Conference in the dance as of right now.
Locks. Of course, when Lenardi has 2 and I have 2, kind of the obvious, isn't it?
See, I was trying to prop you up right there because I didn't mention Joey Brackets yet. I mean, we see him all the time on every network, on every game. I'm just trying to lift you up a little bit, but yes, I agree. Right now, danger zone for Mercer, trailing by 6, and just 1 for their last 7 from the floor.
This is usually Isaiah Miller time.
Koval open. Koval off the mark. Tracked down by Alvarez. Quickly in transition. Cummings lays it in, and a chance for 3.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Roy. If you're grinding to a halt in the half court, get yourself a stop, look for early offense. Love the push ahead by Alvarez. And Cummings with the and-one opportunity.
He's a guy that scored more than 1,000 points in his career. Was 250 three-pointers made. Ross Cummings hasn't found the touch so far in Asheville. Now would be a great time to do that, by the way. Langley from 16. Back iron rebound to Jeff Gary. And the lead's been sliced in half. Here come the Bears. Alvarez, how about the dime inside to Glisson, and it's a 1-point game.
That is Alvarez again. North-south mentality.
McGinnis off the mark. Speaking of north-south, Alvarez in transition. Lost the handle for a minute. They'll set up the offense. Gary. First shot attempt for Jeff Gary. Redshirt junior out of Austin, Texas, and the nephew of head coach Greg Gary for Mercer.
Roy, don't you feel like Mercer's gaining a little momentum here, though?
Happened quickly, and yes, I do. And I love it when you ask me the question. Ten and a half to play in the Southern Conference Championship. Bears the 7 seed trying to win it all.
We've got no time to be tired. 4th game in 4 days. Oh, that was
I say in and out. That was a good look. Still waiting for the under 12 media timeout. Isaiah Miller's going to take a deep breath here and set things up. 12 points tonight for the SoCon Player of the Year, 2 times over. Miller attacking! Yes, sir!
I love the rescreen by Koval, who looked like he was going to come out and screen so Miller could go to the right, but he turned around and gave a screen so Miller could go to his left. And the explosiveness of Isaiah Miller.
Timeout, Mercer.
Isaiah Miller getting it done. Mom loves it. Marilyn in the house. She couldn't be happier for her son. Spartans by 3.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Hard to believe it has been 7 years and one of the great upsets in the history of the dance. The Mercer Bears, then in the Atlantic Sun, getting it done against Duke. Never forget the post-game press conference. Coach K said it best. We lost to a bunch of grown men today, and that's exactly what the Bears were in 2014, and let the party begin in the Mercer locker room. And going to try to duplicate that this year. We mentioned it earlier. No team has won the SoCon in terms of winning 4 games in 4 days since 1939. It's been a while, Mark Wives.
Well, you know what stands out to me in that flashback? Crowded arenas. Give me the fans again.
Oh, man. A little taste of that here in Asheville, inside Harris Cherokee Center. Listen, outside to Jeff Gary, and that shot rejected. Miller comes away with a loose ball. Alvarez gets it back.
Last possession, I thought UNCG was trying to get their matchup zone organized. I think they're back man-to-man now.
Hasse has it. Now he was fouled.
We talked about Isaiah Miller being a world-class athlete. He somehow gets to that ball.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Well, coming up, Selection Sunday is here, 7 Eastern for Pacific, ESPN, also the app. It's Bracketology with Reese Davis, Jay Billis, Fawn, Seth Greenberg, Dickie V. Everybody's going to be there. We'll break down the brackets and have special guests. Sports Center gets it all started 5:15 Eastern. Reese and the guys reveal the NCAA men's field of 68 as the teams are announced. Selection Sunday is here. Let's do it. And let's do it right for the first time in 2 years. I think it's going to be quite the scene, Mark Wise.
I am absolutely with you. The only sad part about bracketology and Selection Sunday is no more emails from Joe Lunardi. We're up to about 4 a day now.
Right. I was going to say, phone starts buzzing around 11:30 at night. You know it's Joey Brackets with one final update on whatever happened
Yes.
out west late nights.
I love it.
And we can't get enough of it. Shot clock under 10. 1-point game here in the SoCon Championship. I'm not sure how Abdul Salam banked that in from the baseline, but he did.
Gosh. What angle did he use to go backboard there?
Just the slightest kiss off the window. Alvarez. Cummings wide open. Big shot here. Can't finish. Miller the rebound. So Miller now with 14 and 8.
That is such a good look for Cummings.
James Glisson approaching a double-double. Alvarez approaching the bucket. 1 point game again. Under 8 to go.
Fearless. Alvarez is just fearless as a driver to the rim.
He was passionate talking with us today. And at one point he suggested, only God knows how much this game means to me. And there was a tinge of seriousness in his voice that made you do a double take. Bears can reclaim the lead right here. Alvarez banks it in again. Back-to-back possessions give him 6 now.
Game on.
51-50. Bears trying to get the rebound. Miller gets it instead, and he gives UNCG the advantage.
So active. I talked about him absorbing contact, inviting contact. Doesn't mind challenging the bigs. This is fun stuff.
Every possession so critical. Bears now with 9 to shoot. Hasse gets it. He'll draw the double team. Glisson wide open and just barely got that one across.
You know, your 4th game in 4 days, you don't have quite the same elevation.
Our 13th lead change of the evening. And a timeout on the floor.
I've talked about Alvarez and his ability to go north-south. It's on full display. High degree of difficulty off the glass.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
It's a simple but meaningful gesture. To put a towel over your shoulder during the game. My father did it to honor my grandparents. Now coaches are doing it to honor him. Sometimes the simplest things have the most meaning.
Back here in Asheville, North Carolina, Marilyn Miller, mother of Isaiah Miller, on your screen right now. And Isaiah gave us a great quote from his mom earlier today. Talked to her about pressure when he was growing up, and she said, don't worry about the pressure. Don't worry about the pressure of the moment. Pressure turns coal into a diamond, and that's exactly what you are, Zay. And he has lived with that his entire life, and he'll take it with him. What could be his final game playing for the Spartans. Right now, UNCG trailing by 1, 6 to go in the SoCon championship game. Mark Wise, Roy Philpotts, and this ought to be a lot of fun. Here's a 3. Langley connects.
Roy, I was just about to say, down the stretch here, who is going to be a willing shot taker and a willing shot maker?
Keyshawn Langley will answer the bell. Hasse will try to respond. He cannot. Koval the board. Spartans by 2 and with possession. Miller lays it in with the left hand. Give him 18.
I just love the way that he can weave and bob through defenders in transition.
Crunch time for Mercer, trailing by 4. Gary the stutter step. And bodies all over the court.
Isaiah Miller, watch his head up the whole time, surveying the floor. Sees the crease, doesn't mind going right at the big. Haase gives ground, and Miller finishes.
UNCG substitution number 3, Kobe.
7 on the shot clock. It'll stay with the Bears. How good has Keyshawn Langley been? His brother Kobe, you see there. Keyshawn will have a seat on the bench. Double figures again tonight, and it just seems like he makes a lot of big threes. Ayers responds, and there's a big three for the Bears. Give him 13.
38% from beyond the arc, but maybe none bigger on the season than that one.
Miller against Alvarez. Gary taps it out of bounds. 9 on the shot clock.
Roy, that was an isolation play for Miller on one side of the floor. Did you see all the black jerseys that were shaded his way?
Wes Miller trying to win a championship, the SoCon title for the first time in 3 years. Gary the rebound. Mercer a chance to regain the lead.
Excellent block out by Gary on the weak side glass.
Haase had the hot hand early, not as much in our second half. He's got 13 tonight, had 8 points in our first 4 minutes.
But his last 2 looks have been wide open.
Miller going to have a couple of free throws, and he wanted more than that right there. Foul called against Ross Cummings. Mark, that's his 3rd, and free throws for Isaiah Miller. He's 2 for 5 tonight at the line, 18 points, and 67% for the season at the stripe.
Miller, as you mentioned, makes 2 out of every 3, but gets himself to the free throw line a lot. That's not a good miss, because that was wide right.
Keyshawn Langley back in.
At the top, I talked about points off turnovers and that difference. Mercer has kept this to a winning number. They lost points off turnovers in each of the first 2 meetings. And right now, Mercer +1 in that category. And that's the reason why it's a 1-possession game.
58-56. Alvarez thought about it. Left side of the paint. Finds a way to put it in. Alvarez now with 8 points, and we're tied at 58.
Wow. You would win a lot of games of force with that shot.
And a chance for 3, Angelo Allegri. 11 ties, 15 lead changes, and what a game we've got cooking in Asheville, North Carolina. They're playing for the hardware. Somebody's going to punch their ticket. Who will it be? ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by SoFi. Get your money right.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers. We're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
When going here, Kevin Nagandi, we appreciate it. The art of the upset, we love to hear that come March. Mark Weisroy, Philpott, 2-point game here. What do you like down the stretch, Coach?
Well, I think it will come down to which team can get the best quality look on each possession. And teams are starting to grind out possessions in the half court. So who's willing to take and make big shots?
Angelo Allegri going to try to complete the 3-point play. Mercer trying to get back to the dance for the first time in more than 6 years. Allegri somehow gets it back. A wild shot And the put in, guess who? Isaiah Miller, another double-double. And he's got 20 points.
He just finds the ball, doesn't he? At all times? Or does the ball find him?
21-10 for Isaiah Miller. Alvarez nearly turned it over and in fact does. The lead at 4.
Mercer had only committed 4 turnovers in the second half, and I really think that's why they have remained in this game. But that is a costly giveaway at the wrong time.
Miller. And Jeff Gary did everything he could to make sure that didn't end up on SportsCenter. And we'll see if maybe we'll take a longer look at that play. Miller didn't like it.
Yeah, that's right. Miller had gone left baseline drive, rejected the screen. I'm a little surprised they're at least not looking at that.
Yeah. 4th double-double of the season for the senior Isaiah Miller, trying to bookend his career at UNCG with SoCon championships.
The question is this excessive by Gary? Well, that's borderline, isn't it?
And the answer, I think, is yes. 1 of 2 at the line, the lead suddenly at 5.
Well, I love the pressure by UNCG. Don't play conservative defensively either.
Now, Ayers has to find somebody, and he cannot. A 5-second call.
Wes Miller did this last night late in the game against ETSU. The general rule of thumb is, okay, let's get back and play half-court defense. No, he extends the defense. Trap in the half-court, nowhere to go. Forces the mistake, the turnover, at a crucial time. Credit that one to Wes Miller.
No doubt. From one Miller to another, the step back. Isaiah this time an air ball, and Cummings somehow comes up with a board. Big shot on the way. Gary.
Roy, these shots are wide open threes. You have to wonder, when does fatigue, those 4 games in 4 days, play a role?
No team in the SoCon has won the title, winning 4 games in 4 days since 1939. And Wes Miller wants to talk things over. 11 seconds on the shot clock. And Mark, it's hard to think that Isaiah Miller isn't going to have a big touch on this possession. Timeout on the floor as we step aside. We're back in 30.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers. We're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. 4th double-double of the season for Isaiah Miller.
Well, it was a real guess on who is going to be our Good Hands player of the game, right? Play of the game, this one-handed flush, rejecting the screen, and oh yeah, Mom likes it.
Maryland absolutely loves it. Shot clock winding down. Here's Miller. Baseline. Yes! Isaiah Miller in clutch time comes up golden again. And now UNCG leads it by 7.
So many times you're only as good as your best player.
And a quick foul. And just like that, Mark, the Spartans on the verge.
I talked about in the open, he is superb in the mid-range. He has kind of perfected this little fadeaway jumper of his. And Mom loves it. Wes Miller loves it. The bench loves it. But UNCG will have to ice this at the free throw line.
7-0 run. Make it 8-0.
Mercer substitution 0.
Miller with 25 points. And the Spartans starting to think about going dancing. One of two, lead at 8. Bears have to hurry.
I think you need a 3.
Ayers was fouled. And 3 free throws coming, so one way or another, and Wes Miller can't believe it.
This is a worst case scenario. I mean, that is such a bad foul at the wrong time. Corner 3, how did he get this open anyway? The late closeout. That's an obvious foul by Langley. So Mercer gets to cut into the lead, and the clock is stopped.
2 more coming for Ayers, 66-59. Bears hanging on by a thread here. The Southern Conference Championship. Winners going to punch their ticket. Loser season going to come to a close.
Ayers now in double figures for the 14th time off the bench. What a luxury for Greg Gary.
And he's got 15 points tonight. Just one off of James Glisson's team high of 60. And Mark, you caught the foul against Keyshawn Langley. Originally, they charged it to Angelo Allegri. That was incorrect. 1:08 remaining. So if he makes this, do you sit back and defend, or you try to extend this one at the free throw line?
I'm extending, and I'm fouling Isaiah Miller as soon as he touches.
Robinson back on the floor. Isaiah Miller has scored 15 of his 25 in the second half tonight, including 7 in the last 3 minutes for the 2-time SoCon Player of the Year. He has struggled at the line. They didn't foul him there. They will get Angelo Allegri, who's 73% this season.
I think, didn't you get the sense that Isaiah Miller thought he was going to get fouled too? That's the reason why he got rid of the ball so quickly.
Yeah. Allegri 0 for 1 at the stripe. Clutch there. We'll get one more.
Still time to get a 2. No need to panic and force a 3 here.
Still a 2-possession game. Allegri, one of the better shooters for UNCG. Missed that one. Hasse the board. Mercer still with an opportunity.
1 minute remaining.
Ayers, easy path to the bucket, couldn't finish. Hasse, rejected by Koval. Big shot here. Cummings in and out. Koval the rebound. Miller rips it away, and a foul called, and that may just be enough for UNCG.
And of course, in a scrum, Isaiah Miller comes up with the ball. Greg Gary's team had a couple of really good looks. Just were not able to cash in.
Isaiah Miller shooting 2.
Miller just 5 of 11 at the line. Yeah, Hasse from point-blank range could have gotten a quick basket there.
And because he missed the first free throw, I again think you can get 2, because it's all about cutting into the lead. Can you get this to a 1-possession game in the last 10 or 15 seconds?
Missed them both. Alvarez. Hasse swatted that one away, and it goes back to UNCG. And Mercer's had their chances here, just 1 for their last 9.
You know, they just haven't been able to make a 3. Some of them are really good looks.
Timeout on the floor. We're back in 30 seconds.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
30 seconds to go. That last sequence under review. 6-point lead for UNCG, the number 1 seed in the SoCon. Mark Wise, Roy Philpott. And I'm not sure there's anything there, Coach, to overturn the original call.
Yeah, there's no question that Haase gets it going toward the sideline. Does Langley get involved with a touch right there? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't think you can overturn the call based on that.
The original call was Spartan basketball. Greg Gary talking things over with his team. They've had their opportunities tonight. Many wide open looks in the second half, and they just haven't fallen. The Bears 5 of 20 from downtown in this one.
Roy, I want to make a comment about the review process. Let me tell you who likes the reviews. The coaches, the players. They want the officials to get it right. So while you might get the long review from time to time, this is what everybody wants. They want the call to get right.
You saw Todd Austin there indicate the call will stand. So Spartan basketball, 30 seconds remaining, a 2-possession game, and Mercer's going to have to try to foul and extend it a bit further. And believe it or not, that's the guy you want to foul, Isaiah Miller. 5 of 13 at the line tonight for the SoCon Player of the Year.
I like this adjustment by Wes Miller, though. Let Isaiah Miller be the trigger man. He's going to inbound the ball.
Sean Langley gets it. He's quickly fouled, and he's 78% at the line.
So with this little time left, Roy, Mercer's response offensively is going to be based on what Langley does at the line. If he makes one, go get a quick 2. If he makes both, it has to be a 3.
2 for 2 tonight is Keyshawn Langley. Sophomore out of High Point, North Carolina, and he missed the first.
I never liked
one more coming.
I'm sorry, Roy. I never like it when you don't put players at the free throw line. Free throw shooting is about 2 things and 2 things only: repetition and confidence. When you don't put players at the free throw line, you change the repetition part.
Now a 3-possession game. Alvarez need that one straight out of bounds, and UNCG can taste it now.
Timeout, UNCG.
Crossover dribble. He just dribbles it right to Langley. That's a good call.
Send you back to the studio. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Roy and Mark want to remind our audience coming your way, Jalen Suggs, West Coast Conference.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you. With our business-friendly climate, a skilled and growing workforce, and a high quality of life, Ohio is better for businesses and employees. Because we're not built for followers, we're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
Kevin, we look forward to that. 7-point advantage for UNCG here in Asheville. Spartans trying to punch their ticket for the first time since 2018. And Marilyn Miller wants to see her son play in the big dance. She is